got my agency to, 70K a month.
Why the heck did you stop doing it?
Because one of the things I teach is like, hey, if we can understand our clients' problems better than they can, you know what I mean? And we can speak to that psychologically without us even selling them, they'll start to believe that we have the solution. I've been starting to also block out time, right? Block out time because one, that forces me to optimize my time when I'm actually working, but then also it causes me to mentally check out.
If you can separate the amount of work you put in from your levels of happiness and fulfillment as an entrepreneur, that is the key.
The biggest lesson that I've learned from you is like literally priceless. It literally paid for the program. You know what I mean?
Yo, I'm here with Jourdan. I don't even know how to say your last name. I'm going to try here. Eloriago.
Right. Man, there's A, bro, at the end. Eloriaga. Yeah.
Eloriaga. Got it. Sweet. Jourdan, we've been working with for how long?
A little over a month. Yeah.
Like 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
We both had the same sort of like agency burnout where it's like you run an agency for so long, you start to just feel like you're a bitch to your clients. They have the power in the relationship. They're not grateful. It's not as scalable. And, we hopped on a phone 5-6 weeks ago and we chatted about that. And he kind of like sold his agency in a sense and now was like kind of wondering what's next. So I was like, dude, coaching's the way to go. And ever since then, things have been going well. So first, before we jump into that, you want to give yourself like a little intro of how Jourdan was introduced to the business world to begin with?
Yeah, no. And I'll just go back to the beginning, right? 2020, laid off, right? Just had my first kid with my wife and didn't know what to do. So I did what any sane person would do. Wanted to start a business, right? So I saw someone.
Where were you working?
I was actually working as a marketing manager for like a CBD company.
Got it.
Yeah. So was laid off of there. Saw an ad from an internet guru saying like, hey, we can help you scale and start your social media marketing agency. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So I spent $5K that I didn't have because I was laid off. And fast forward, we got my agency to 70K a month in less than a year, right? Which allowed me to kind of get that acquired, right? Semi-acquired by another agency that's Inc. 5000. They were doing $400,000 a month. Kind of realized that I didn't like private equity. And now I am starting a new consulting agency. And that's why I got introduced to you.
Yeah. Consulting's the way to go, man. I'm on a mission to turn agency owners into consultants. So
yeah, well, you're doing a good job.
Mission accomplished here.
Yeah.
So first of all, I want to know who the internet guru was. Was it like an Imran Gadzi? Was it like who introduced you to the SMMA game?
J.R. Rivas. We're actually both here in Denver. So yeah.
J.R. Rivas. I don't even think I know who that is. Cool. So you started the agency, you got it to 70K a month in less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
And how'd you do that? A lot of people are probably like, dude, that sounds insane. I did the same. I did a very similar. We got to 60K a month in like 6 months, but a lot of people, like both those things sound absolutely insane. Like, dude, you went from working a job to now making over $70,000 a month. Like, how does that work?
Well, I think I just took immediate action, right? This had to work to feed my family and whatnot. And I chose an interesting niche that was just booming at the time, med spas, right? So that kind of blew up during the pandemic. And I just started to hit the ground running, did a lot of work for free to get testimonials and social proof, use that as ads to kind of build my influence in the space as a personal brand, right? Which is like why I love your social funnel aspect. But that's kind of how I grew, right? To set myself apart, personal brand, doing a lot of work for free to get those testimonials first and foremost. Obviously getting my clients results, and we've taken a lot of them from 0 to 100K months, right? So yeah, that's kind of my story, right?
Yeah. So most people would see this and, they probably think the same thing about me. It's like, okay, Jourdan, you had a business doing 70K a month, right? Mm-hmm. From the outside looking in, that's like, dude, why the heck would you stop? Like, why would you not run that business anymore? And people ask me the same thing. Grayson, you had a 60K a month agency, the dream that most people start off with when they watch all the SMMA guru videos on YouTube. Why the heck did you stop doing it? Why'd you stop running it?
Time freedom, right? There's a misconception. I say this to all the other entrepreneurs that I network with. Like, it's so funny that we start entrepreneurship to get back our time, but we literally work ourselves into a job, right?
Yep.
And even with agencies, I remember, yeah, 70K a month sounds great, but I remember when I was like from 8 to 8 sales calls, 30-minute discovery calls, one after the other, right? Sounds great. And I actually used those screenshots of my calendar to, get clients, but really I was like, man, is this even worth it? You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing this for? So that was the drawback on owning an agency, which is why I like the consulting model. It's 10 times, 100 times better, right? Because the amount that you're making per hour is exponential as opposed to agency life, right?
100%. Yeah. The like an agency is basically like, let's say you're a marketing director, like you were. I was also a marketing director at a private equity real estate firm before I launched my agency.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's an agency is basically just a very high paying job, right? Because it's like you're going to work a shit ton. You're going to spend so much time servicing clients. You're going to spend a lot of time on sales calls. You're going to spend a lot of time hiring, building systems, right? It's a high paying job. Maybe you can take like a week off and lose like 2 or 3 clients when you're off. But like that's the life of an agency owner. And so like most people start off with the idea in mind of like, okay, I'm starting this business so that I can spend time with my family, so I can travel the world, so I can, find the wife of my dreams, whatever it is, like they're the reason for starting the business.
Yep.
And they forget the reason they started. So they build it up to, just like you said, 60, 70K a month.
Yeah.
And it's just a high paying job.
Yeah, man. All the agency owners that came up with me, I would say there's 2 paths to an agency owner. Either ascend to the higher plane, become a coach or consultant, or you go to Airbnb.
You become an Airbnb host? Is that what you mean?
Airbnb arbitrage.
Oh, yeah. That's so funny. Yeah. Well, I think, in my opinion, I think the 2 paths that I see are like you become a coach consultant, or you stop the typical agency life and you go to like rev share and partnership deals, like equity and rev share deals with your clients.
Oh,
which, obviously it's a lot more sticky. You can't really lose a client if you own 10% of their business. I think that model is a little more tricky than the coaching consulting model. And for me, I just really thought about, what's the reason that I started this whole business to begin with? I want high cash flow. I don't think I'm ever going to sell this business for a 10x multiple and exit and, be like Alex Hormozi and exit my coaching company for $40 million. I just don't think that's going to happen. But what can happen is I can make 30 to 100 grand a month in profit, live a great life, not spend too much time, not spend too much time inside of the business and service delivery. And I can spend most of my time, doing the things I love, and then invest in things like real estate. Like that's sort of.
Yeah, man. Like, here's the thing, like 70K a month at the agency here currently at the time of this video, right? When you're watching this, audience, we're at 20K a month, right? But I'm working less than I ever had before. Profit margins are 80% profit margins. And, lack of a better term, I'm just chilling. I'm not really not, but it's a better lifestyle for sure than what I had. Yeah.
100%. So tell me about the transition from 0 to, you said 20K a month right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But tell me about what does business look like for you now, and how did you scale it from 0 to 20K, and what is that, like 5 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's just going all in with what you're teaching, right? The social funnel aspect, and really kind of setting yourself apart from everyone doing like direct response, right? It's coming at it from a position of value first, which no one is doing, right? And then, just it's basically the metaphor that I use for my own clients is, hey, if you're on a first date and you're on the first date, someone's asking you, hey, can we get married? Right? That's a lot of what these marketers and agencies do, right? It's like direct response. You want this? Oh, I just met you, right? What? This is weird. So I do, how I've been able to scale so aggressively and get the clients that I want is through kind of what you're teaching and just promoting value first, building a relationship, and then getting clients that I actually want to raise their hand and be like, hey, maybe this is something, maybe Jourdan has something that I want, which is ultimately what I want in the first place. It's allowing me to live the life that I live and service the clients that I want to service. So.
Yeah, sweet. And so that's kind of like an overview. Now, could you give someone like a tactical, maybe a little bit more tactical, like, hey, if they're an agency owner right now, or they wanted to start some sort of like, consulting offer, coaching offer, what would be like your tactical advice for them to, start a consulting offer? Maybe same niche as you, maybe a different niche. What would your advice be, like step one?
My best advice, which compounds to everything in terms of content, is to truly understand who you're marketing. And I know that's a cliche to do, but really the secret on how I scaled so aggressively, is I actually called up like 20 med spas around me. And I straight up called them from a position of, hey, I'm a marketing student. I just have some questions. I'm just trying to pass my class, right? Do you mind if I just ask you some quick questions on marketing and sales so I can just understand what your business is about? Come at it from that angle. They gave me the world, right? Which allowed me to speak their language, understand what's keeping them up at night. So when I can communicate that on calls, discovery calls and demo calls, and then also the content that I put out, right? To get clients for, at the time, my agency, but now my consulting model.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did when I was trying to start my agency. I was going to work with financial advisors at first. And so I called up, I would actually go on websites and book in a time on a financial advisor's calendar. Like, I'm going to sign up for their, advising.
Yeah.
And I just got on the phone. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry that I booked this time, but like, I'm not here to buy. And now as a business owner, I'd be pissed if someone did it to me. But I did it. And like, maybe like 3 out of 10 of them would, sit down and be like, all right, dude, this isn't cool, but like, you seem like a nice guy. So I'll give you some advice. Right. Or like, here's exactly what I would be looking for in an offer.
Yeah.
And so that was super helpful. And then I didn't end up going with the niche, but you learn kind of what people's problems are. And that's the key to a business, is understanding someone's problem.
Right.
And not falling in love with, a lot of people fall in love with their product, right? They say, I'm the best at Facebook ads, I'm the best at TikTok ads. And instead of doing that, you want to fall in love with your clients. Like, what are their problems? How can you best solve their problem? A lot of times the agency model is like you optimizing for yourself. You run the ads for them so that you can, charge a high ticket retainer, rather than doing what's best for the client, which is just maybe showing them how to do it like you do, like I do, showing them how to run the ads themselves, because it takes 5 clicks inside of the ads manager. And now you have a higher leverage business model, consulting. And you're not, now you don't feel like you're technically, scamming your clients by doing it all for them. So,
yeah. And, I genuinely feel more fulfilled, like kind of this model too, right? Like, one, understanding their pain points so I can talk to them on a deeper level. Because one of the things I teach is like, hey, if we can understand our clients' problems better than they can, you know what I mean? And we could speak to that psychologically without us even selling them, they'll start to believe that we have the solution to their problems, right? And ultimately, that was kind of what I was teaching at the agency. So basically, I was doing consulting without even knowing it, right? And that's part of the reason how I scaled so aggressively, which is why the transition from agency owner to coaching consultant was seamless for me, right? And very fortunate that I came across your content. So
yeah, sweet. So for someone who's now, let's say they've got an offer, that they're an agency owner, or maybe they've got a couple clients they're working with, what would your advice be in terms of like business and life together, right? You have a kid now, I'm getting married now. We're not just in the side of the internet where it's like hustle, grind, make money, and that's it. Now it's like we have a purpose for what we're doing. And it's not simply to just make the most amount of money. It's not simply to just like work a shit ton, go home, sleep, wake up, work again. What would your advice be to someone who's trying to balance that business life aspect? How hard do you push the envelope? What should you, what goals do you shoot for? Do you shoot for 100K a month? Do you only shoot for 30? Like how do you balance that?
What I've begun to realize is it's not as, if you don't reach out to your clients, like if they're reaching out to you, and you don't get to them, like say in an hour or something like that, nothing is going to crash and burn. You know what I mean? So as of late, I've been starting to just kind of pre-framing, hey, these are the hours, you know what I mean? This is where you can reach me, right? And based on kind of what's going on, I'll respond accordingly, right? So basically all that means is on the onboarding, just let them know, you know what I mean? Kind of set expectations with that. I've been starting to also block out time, right? Block out time because one, that forces me to optimize my time when I'm actually working, but then also it causes me to mentally check out, right? Check out of the business so I can actually kind of give my family their full attention, because ultimately that's what they deserve. And this is why I chose the life that I chose, right? Entrepreneurship is because one, we have the ability to do so, right? Also gratitude that we do have that ability, right? But most of us don't utilize it because we get that anxiety of like, if I'm not working or grinding 100% of the time, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
It's not the case, right?
Especially if you start your business, which most people do with the frame of like, all right, I need to go hard on this. I'm going to push the envelope as hard as I can, probably work a lot, which is, usually necessary if you've never had a business before. Like definitely a grind in the first 10, 20, 30K a month is a grind for sure.
Yep.
But eventually you have to get to a point in the business where you figure out, what am I really doing this for? Like when I'm on my, it sounds so cliche, but when I'm on my deathbed and I'm like, thinking back on my life, am I, do you really think that, an extra 50K a month rather than 20K a month is really going to be the thing that really set me up and made me happy in my life? Like, I think for me, it's going to be my relationship with God. Am I good with God? Boom. That's all I need. First of all, if I got that, I'm good to go. Second thing is like family, wife, kids, right? That's what I'm going to think about on my deathbed. I'm not going to think about, yes, I finally made 10 million a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's coming back to me. I think you asked me like, what are my goals like when we partnered up, right? Before I entered this program. If you were to ask me like 2 years ago, it's like, yeah, the 100K months, right? I reached 70K a month. I didn't feel any different. You know what I mean? Like it's not what you think. But if you were to ask me today, and what I told you was, hey, my goal is time. My goal is to leverage this business to get my time back with my kids and all that stuff. And that's what makes it worth it. Cause you're right. I think the same way as you do. It's like, on my deathbed, what really mattered? It's not the money, right? It's not the things. It's how I made people feel, the memories and all that stuff, and the legacy that I leave for my kids and family, right? So
yeah, and it's really hard to separate your emotions from your business. That's, first of all, that's hard in itself. Now, the second thing it's really hard to do is to separate the dopamine from the amount of work put in, right? Like if you get dopamine from simply work itself, that's a very bad way to live life. If you get dopamine from, work being done, clients being happy, but you don't necessarily have to be a part of that. You have a team, your clients don't need you 24/7, right? If you can separate the amount of work you put in from your levels of happiness and fulfillment as an entrepreneur, that is the key. And that's really hard to do, right? Because we think if we're not working, like we immediately anxiety, our client's going to leave me. Is my business going to go to the ground? Like, probably once a day. I don't know if maybe you get this too, maybe we can relate on this, but probably once a day. I think, like it's all going to go to shit. Like the whole business, my clients are going to leave. I'm going to be unprofitable and everything. And I just hit like my first 100K month, like literally like a few days ago. And this is how I think. So no matter what level you're at, I'll get your opinions on this, but like, that's still how we think. So
yeah. No. And, man, the biggest lesson that I've learned from you is like literally priceless. It literally paid for the program. You know what I mean? Is one, finding the right clients. You know what I mean? And what I used to think, right, in my niche, and let me preface this, every niche sucks. You know what I mean? Like every niche sucks. We just have to be better at converting our own clients, right? Our own audiences.
Well, I'll say every niche is 50-50. Every niche has 50% suck and 50%, oh, this is like the good part about the niche. Sure. Every single niche is 50-50. There's no niche that's like 60% good, 40%. They're all 50-50.
They're all, yeah, right. Yeah, I'll agree with that. But why I say I appreciate you is my content has started to attract more, for lack of a better term, people with money. You know what I mean? Whereas before on the agency model was very much like, hey, I'll get you 20 booked appointments in 30 days, right? Which is attracting a certain type of individual. Since then, since the whole content and building value first, it's getting people, one, ready to buy and knowing what I bring to the table. So they're more willing to spend higher ticket and be my ideal clients and not necessarily contacting me 24/7 like a normal agency client would.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. The agency, like the way that your clients hit you up, yo, dude, can we pause payment this month? Can we do this? Can we do that? I always tell people, like, the agencies, I got to think of a better way to phrase this. But agencies make rich people richer. And it's not always rich people. Usually you're going to work with people that they already make enough money, you know? So if they're going to afford to pay you 2, 3, 4, 5 grand a month, they got to be making 10, 20, 30 minimum, right? So agencies make rich people richer, and they make, and coaching leaves an impact. That's what I always say. Like, you know, I don't think any client of an agency has ever gone, dude, you changed my life. You changed the way that I thought about things. You've changed the amount of time I spent with my kids. No agency owner has ever gotten that message ever. Maybe I'm wrong, but like a lot of my coaching clients, that's the message I get. So that's why I like this business model better. I don't know if that's the same for you, but
it is, right? Like, I mean, when I was at my agency, I just included elements of coaching, which at the time no one was doing. So I got that at my agency. But again, like I do know agencies that don't do that. And you're totally right. 100%.
Well, sweet, dude. I'll leave you with, like, you know, we'll wrap up here. What is sort of like for someone watching and they are either trying to start their first online consulting agency business, coaching business, or maybe a burnt out agency owner where you were before, what would be your number one, like, piece of, you know, advice to go over to?
Go on Grayson's Instagram and book a call. Send him a DM.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, dude. What would be sort of like, you know, obviously I think getting a mentor for anybody. I have my own mentor. Obviously I'm a coach for you right now. Mm-hmm. What is, obviously, so step one, get a mentor. I think for anybody, get a coach, get somebody who's done what you're trying to do. Yep. Get someone whose life you would like to live, not just a coach who makes $1 million a month, but get a coach of someone who's like, their life is like, oh, I could see myself doing that. I resonate with their values as a person as well. Yeah. What would your, like, tactical advice be? Like, your, maybe not a tactical, but like, you know what I mean? Like a real,
I mean, when I said book a call with you, I wasn't lying, because the other half of that is surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. Because I've done the route of not investing in a program, trying to start a business by just consuming YouTube content. Because here's the thing, the information is out there, right? We can all, look at YouTube and kind of get the information on how to scale a business the right way and profitable and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there, but what is invaluable and what will propel you faster than you can imagine is surrounding yourself with people also trying to do the same thing as you do, because it forces you to think differently and to take action. And the action is key, right? Because what's information if you don't take the action? Yeah.
And I think for some people, they think that they're paying for information, and that's kind of what you have to do to get them in the door, right? But what people really need is their beliefs to be changed, right? Yeah. Like I'm limited only by what I believe. I don't have the belief. Like, I have this limiting belief, and I probably, maybe need to fix it. But I have, like, if I believed that I can make $1 million a month tomorrow, I probably would have built my business in a way that I maybe could be at $1 million a month. But I simply just didn't even believe that was possible. So, hey, I'm at 100K a month, but I'm not at $1 million, right? Because I didn't have that belief. And so that goes for all aspects of life. Paying somebody in the position you want to be in, it shows you, like, you're on the phone with them. You can see they're a real person. You can see that, okay, this is real. This is possible. You can see what's possible. Even if you got no information, simply just paying $5,000 or $6,000 or $10,000, whatever the coaching program cost is, getting on a phone and, like, looking at somebody and be like, okay, this is real. This is possible for me. Mm-hmm. All the information's free, but I needed this in order to, like, believe in myself and believe what's possible.
Right. And the thing that I'll add on to that is, if you don't invest in yourself, no one will invest in you. It's something that I teach, but it's like, if you're selling a 5K program and you don't invest 5K in your, at least 5K in yourself, it doesn't matter if it's a coaching program or whatever. How can you expect someone to buy from you. You know what I mean? So with me, it's like, if I don't continually invest in myself, to the point where it's like, hey man, should I be really spending this money? Right? I've since shifted it to, this is an investment. And the more money I spend on myself, and it kind of hurts a little bit, not saying it puts me in a bind, but the more I invest in myself, the more results I get. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. So
yeah, you're sacrificing, a little bit now in order to gain later on, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So anyways, dude, this was awesome. I think for anybody watching, this probably gives a lot of insight into what's possible with an online business rather than like what most people talk about, which is just the hustle, the grind to get to $1 million a month. So, dude, thanks for hopping on. And we will, I'll see you next week for our coaching call.
We'll see you.